So the hip hinge, this is the key technique which is going to enable you to do good deadlifts, your RDLs, and also help you with your kettlebell swing, and as I already mentioned, the bent over row movement. So we're just sort of stripping it back to that basic movement and getting it spot on again. So the first thing is we need a neutral spine. So I'm going to use ab. So if you come over here. So I know it's stuff that some of you have heard before, but you have to keep reinforcing these things. Even I do that. I sort of bring it back to the basics now and again. So let's get you standing around that way. So your neutral spine position is if I've got the dowel on his back, we should have 3 points of contact. So we've got the sacrum down over here. If you can see, I can pass my hand through that gap. It's not flattened. And also the back of your head. So the back of the head should be touching the dowel. But see how what you did was you tipped your head back rather than moving your whole head back. So what you've got to try and do is pull the head back towards, yes. Right? Does that make sense? Yeah. That's quite important because obviously, as I keep saying, coordination-wise, the head is like, you know, you think you're moving the rest of your body, but it all starts from here. If the head's not in the right position, everything else can start to deteriorate. So when I say bring the head back, I don't mean do this. Yeah? I mean move the whole head backwards. Yeah. Slightly different. Okay, so that's your neutral spine position. Now whenever you're hip hinging, obviously you're going to be pulling your hips back and you're trying to maintain this alignment in your spine. So classically what will happen is as the hips are going back, you'll start to round forward. So let's bring the hips forwards and then just sort of lose it up here a little bit. Yeah, it's just helps keep it there. Yeah, so what's happened there is we've lost it over here. Some of you taller guys, like Paul Budd, I saw you swinging on Friday, and yeah, it was, I saw you swinging, mate. Friday night, at it again. Parked up outside the house, there's pampas grass in the front garden, keys in the bowl. Yeah, so it kind of starts here, and then obviously what we get as well is that the lower back it flattens, and you can see now I can't pass my fingers through there. Yeah, it's kind of okay. It's kind of okay for this to flatten a little bit, but for a lot of you it's excessive, and what happens is your pelvis ends up getting pulled underneath you, and then these lower vertebrae over here, the discs over here are under risk. Yeah. So if you think, you know, your vertebrae is kind of going like that, and it's almost like it's pushing the discs out. And what we need to do is to stop that happen. So it's either flat or you've got a slight arch in the lower back. Does that make sense? Yeah? Okay, so what we're going to do is we're going to use the dowel. I'll just demonstrate to start with. So we're getting, you know, the good neutral spine position. Now whenever you're doing your hip hinge, just have your feet hip width apart, feet parallel, and then you're actually going to place the dowel across kind of the crease of your trousers. Yeah, so it's just in line with your hips. Okay, then you're going to take your arms out to the side so that your arms are completely straight and your shoulders are not shrugged. Yeah, we're not up over here. And then what you're going to do is you're actually going to physically push on the dowel, pull your hips back, and then stand back upright. Yeah, so push on the dowel, hips back. You might have to bend your arms a little bit to keep your hands in the right position, and then stand back. And then obviously my head is following my body. This is the other thing. So classically, it's one of two things. You're either going to be looking up like this while you're hip hinging, your hips are going back, which kind of kills the movement at the hips as well. Or if I tell you to have your head following your body, it's the opposite. It's kind of like that. Yeah? So we've got this either here or here, and what we need to do is obviously keep the chin out of the chest and just allow the head to follow the body, coming up, down and back up again. I think that's pretty much it. Yeah. So we've got neutral spine position the whole time, very, very important. So a few of you who are struggling with that, you've just got to be conscious of that the whole time. Obviously, the knees never go forwards at all. Yeah? So when your hips are going back, you should feel tension in your hamstrings and your glutes. Now some of you may be a bit tighter and the hamstrings are going to favour your quads, and your knees are going to start sliding forwards a little bit because it feels more comfortable, and then you're going to feel tension in your quads. So there's one or two, so Ken, for example. So just be aware of that. Obviously you unlock your knees do bend, they have to bend, but they're not going forwards, not even a centimetre. It's all about the hips going backwards. It's all about hamstrings, glutes, even a little bit of tension in the lower back, and even the upper back has to be working, because if it's not working, you're going to be slouched. It's to pull you in that nice neutral spine position all the way through the movement. Cool.